Hi guys, good morning. Welcome to this session. Yesterday we have seen about different data types. So let's experiment a few more programs on data types. Let's go on select languages Java. Let's go with class all data types. Public static. Right. So we have seen different various data types, right? One is byte, short, int, long, float. This is the order. It should end with F, double, Boolean. I cannot give name again here B. That's why I given B1 because already B is there. Character. I can give any character here, right? So these are the 8 basic data type. Byte, short, int, long. All these are for integer numbers. Float and double for floating point. Boolean for decision making. Character for single character, right? So same I can print it. Right. So I can say byte, short, int, long, float, double, boolean, then character type. Right. Same we are trying to print it. Let's save it. Let's save it in this location. Under programs, you can save it here. Class name.java. Right. Then you can go to the location and open the command prompt. You can say Java C class name.java. Compilation is success. Java class name. So you are getting various data types output, right? If you compare the output with the programs, you'll be understanding it, right? First we are printing byte, then short, byte short, 20, then integer, then long, float, double, boolean, and character. So all we are printing it. Just like, these are the local variables. Why you are telling local variables? Because these local variables are declared inside a method, that is main method. So we have seen these are the primitive data types, right? Like byte, short, int, long, float, double, boolean, and character, right? These are the default, or I mean primitive data types, right? So for byte, short, int, long, all these four are for integer types. Default value means by default the value is 0, right? For all of them the default value is 0, right? All of them the default value is 0 because all are, you know uh, integer data types or whole numbers, right? For float and double, the default float and double are for floating point values, right? These for 0, 0.0, right? For floating and double, the default value is 0, 0.0. For boolean, the default value is false. For character, the default value is empty character, right? That is empty character. These are the default values for the primitive data types, correct? So this you can remember it. Now let's go and see about methods, right? So if you remember in the very beginning of the session, I said I'll be teaching about the methods, right? So let's go and experiment about methods. So we will see how to define why we need methods, how to declare static method, and also we will see how we can call the static method, what its usage, right? So why we need methods? Methods basically it consists a group of statements, right? That can perform some specific task, right? Suppose consider you are going to define one method called find percentage, right? This is a main method, let it be, right? So you are defining one more method called, say for example, public static void. Already you are having one method called main method. Now I am going to have one method called find percentage, right? What is this method functionality? Simple, finding the percentage, right? So it can contain any number of lines, right? Collection of lines or group of lines. The important thing is it is used to perform some specific task, right? So as I said in the very beginning, method name should be meaningful. By, knowing the method name itself, anyone can understand high level what this method can able to do, right? So this is why we have methods. And also consider, as I said, hey, you want to find a percentage of tax or something, right? Or you can say one more method, right? This is one of the method. I am going to define one more method, right? Public static void, right? Find salary of particular employee, right? What I need to do is in my database there can be many number of employee details. For each employee, I want to find the salary. Method can take parameters also, right? I can give int employee ID. If I give the employee ID, then this basically should print out the employee salary, find out the employee salary. So I now need to write same code for all the employees. In the organization, there can be thousands or millions of employees will be there, right? So we no need to repeat code for all the employees. Instead, you keep the logic here, right? Writing logic here, writing common logic here, right? Common logic here. So just take the employee ID, right? Whichever employee you want to find out the salary, ask them to give the employee ID. Then keep the common logic here. Based on the employee ID, go to the database, find out that particular employee salary and print the salary here. So it means the second point is, to reuse the repeated code. In case if I keep for each and every employee, same code I need to repeat again and again for all the employees. Readability will not be there. Duplicates will be there, right? So instead, we are going to reuse the repeated code, right? This is the second point. And third point is, as I said, each method it's for particular purpose, right? Each method, we are keeping it for particular purpose, functionality wise. What is this method? This method is for finding out percentage, right? This method is for finding out salary, right? In case if you want to find out tax for the particular employee, right? Keep separate method. So it is always advisable to keep the methods as per the functionality, right? That is what I have mentioned in the third point, right? Methods basically it is helping us to organize the code functionality wise, right? For each functionality, keep a separate method. So what is the purpose? Like this, it is easy to maintain the code, right? Readability will be good and the maintainability code also will be very good. Instead of keeping everything in the single method, right? So it is always better to segregate the method according to its functionality. Let's see how to define static methods, right? We already seen our main method. The signature is public static void main, right? It takes some string array arguments. See about the second method. Same public static return type is void. Method name is, you can give any method name. It is not taking any arguments. Method can take any number of arguments, right? Or no arguments also fine, right? You can say methods can take any number of arguments, even no arguments also. It can take, it cannot take any arguments also. If you see here, it is not taking any arguments. What about find salary? This method takes single argument, only one argument. Or even it can take two number of arguments, right? You can say employee number and employee name. This is also possible, right? Method can take any number of arguments, right? So this is the syntax. Access modifier, right? Again, I can explain here. No need to worry. What is this public? So far we know public means this method is a public method. Anyone can access it, right? This is called access modifier. So it can be public, private, protected, or a default. We will experiment this more. Static keyword should be there because we are declaring static method. What is third one? Third one is a return type. All these methods are not returning any data type, right? And fourth one is a name of the method. Here name of the method is main method. Here find percentage. Here it is find salary, right? So same thing we are mentioned here. Method body, inside method whatever you are doing it, that is called method body, right? So few of them. Okay, so we instead of seeing all this theory point directly, we will experiment few more, you know, examples about methods. I'm going with a new class. Let's create a class called method1, right? I know this class name is not good. Just like for our experimenting purpose, I'm giving. We will be going for a different methods, different classes. So I'm just giving some random name, right? So give like public static void main string arguments of. This is the class name, right? This is the method name, right? What you can say? You can say this is the main method, right? What is this? This is main method, right? Same way, if you want to define one more method, simple. Go with public static void test method. This is called test method. So what we are doing here? Simple. We are declaring a method. This is called declaring a method, right? Declaring a method, right? Declaring a main method, right? Same way, here what we are doing? We are declaring a test method, right? I am not yet used. Let's run this program. Listen little carefully. Let's save it and compile this program. Java C class name.java, Java class name. See, you are getting only output main method, right? You will be wondering who is calling this method. I already said main method is called by JVM. The execution starts from main method. But why we are not getting this output test method? We just declared it. No one called it, right? You can declare any number of method. Wherever you need, you can call it. You are getting me? So this is how we can declare a method. So how I can call the method? Simple. What I will do, always, the method execution starts from main method. Inside main method, I can call test method, right? What is this? This is called calling a method, right? Calling a method. So I'm printing something. Then again, what I'm doing, I am saying something like this. Always main method starts from the beginning, right? You no need to worry about static, that I will cover in the future sessions. For now, the point is we are experimenting about methods. So always the execution starts from the main method. So the execution comes here, it prints main method starts. Then we are calling a method. How I can call? Static method can be called directly, right? Static methods can be called directly from the static, right? So what I can say, static methods can be called directly using the method name, right? See here, test is a static method, right? So we are calling the test method. And after calling the test method, execution going inside test method, then printing test method, right? Now let's run this program again. Listen little carefully. we are going to run the same program again. Let's compile it again. Sorry, I have closed it. So let's open again. Java C method1.java, compiling the program and running the program. Java method1, right? See here, as I said, observe the output along with the program. See here, the execution started at main method, right? Execution started at main method. It came here and started executing main method, right? Started executing at main method, right? So we are getting output main method starts, right? Then we are calling a test method. So execution goes here, printing all the statements or executing test statement. So here we are just printing one line. So, printing test method. Once it executes the complete test method, coming back and printing the executing rest of the main method. Again, we are getting main method ends, right? So what I'm going to do, I'm going to print something like this. Test method starts and test method ends, right? I'm just doing something, then I'm printing both the statements. Now what will be the output? It's simple. It will print both, right? Main method starts, calling a test method. Directly I'm calling, method name should be exactly same. It will come here, it will print test method starts and test method ends, right? Save it. Once saved, just go here, just compile it. Compilation is success. Then run it. See here, output, same thing we are getting it. Main method starts, main test method starts, going inside test method, executing all the statements inside test method, and printing the test method. So one more important point. So here how we are calling the test method directly by using the test name. Consider I am calling like test1 method. What will happen? The method is declared with test method, but you are trying to call with test1. So there is no method called test1. You will get compile time error, right? There is no test1 method. It says clearly cannot find symbol. So you need to call available methods. You need to call available methods, right? So you cannot call simply like that. So I'm just again made it sure I'm using test method. Now one more thing is test is a static method, right? How we can call static methods? You can call directly, right? Static methods can be called directly using the method name, right? I can say static methods can be called using its method name. Our second point is static method can be called using the class name also. I said in the very beginning, one line description about static. Static means it belongs to class, right? In the very beginning of the class, I said public static. Static means this method belongs to class. Here main method belongs to class, test method also belongs to class, right? So static methods either we can call directly or we can call by using class name. How I am going to call? Simple. By using class name. Method1 dot class name dot method name, right? We are calling class name dot method name. This is also possible. Let's run it again. Saving the program. Again recompiling it. Java C class name dot Java. Compilation is success. Let's run it. See output also success. So what we are trying to understand? Static methods can be called using class name also possible, right? Static methods can be called using its class name. its class name. What is the signature? Simple class name dot method name, right? This is the signature method name. So we can call by using class name also. Now experimenting more. First time we are calling directly, right? What I am doing, I am just keeping something directly we are calling a method. Then I am printing something like this. Some dotted lines I am printing, right? I am printing some dotted lines. Then I am trying to call using its class name dot method name. What I am doing here, again go through the program will start executing from main method. Coming here, calling main method starts, then calling a method, calling a test method. Directly we are calling, so flow will go print test method starts, test method ends, coming back, printing the dotted lines. Again, we are calling test method by using class name, right? By using class name. Again, it will go to test method, print everything, coming back, printing main method ends, right? Main method ends. Let's execute again. Compile the Java program, executing the Java program. Observe the program and along with the output. Please observe the program and along with the output, try to understand it. If you observe here, test method, consider like test method having some common code. You want to use it again and again, right? In case if I want to print 2 lines, what I need to do? I need to copy this code, removing the test method, print it here, right? Again, I want it here, I need to keep it here, print it here, right? So suppose here 2 lines, suppose if it is 100 lines, same I need to repeat twice, right? So repetition of code. That's why what we are doing, simple, whatever repeated codes, we are keeping inside a method and calling that method whenever we want, right? That is the point we have seen here, the second point, right? Method helps us to reuse the repeated code, right? Instead of keeping the duplicate code again and again, you need to keep it. You need to keep it in a method and call it whenever is needed. So here we are calling twice, right? Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to modify this same code again, right? Consider I change this method into test1 method, right? Test1 method, right? Test1 method. Again, you can create any number of methods inside your Java code, right? I can say same way I can keep public static void test2 method, right? And I can print something here. Consider I am just printing the same thing like test2 method starts, test2 method ends, right? Test2 method starts, test2 method ends, right? Same thing, I have two methods. First method I am calling directly test1 method, second one using class name. Anyhow I can call. Either I can call directly or I can call using, directly also I can call or I can call using class name also. That is fine. If I run this program, what will be the output? Let's compile this program. Let's run this program. Observe the output. Yeah, you can call any number of time, right? It is possible. Consider I'm calling something like this, test1 method, right? Again and again also you can call it. You can call any number of time. right? What I am doing here, test1 method, how many times I am calling? 4 times I am calling here. 1, 2, 3, 4. I have two methods, test1 and test2, but test1 method only I am calling 4 times, right? Let's compile the program again. See, can you please observe the analyze the code and output? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to remove all these statements, right? Now what I'm going to do is it's simple. I'm going to call test1 method, right? So inside test1 method, I'm going to call test2 method, right? Inside test1 method, I'm going to call test2 method. Either I can call directly or using class name. What will happen here? Simple, execution starts from main method. Main method starts going inside test1 method, printing the first line, calling test2 method. So execution from here, it will go to test2 method, printing test2 method completely, coming back, who called test2 method? Test2 method called by test1 method, coming back, printing the rest of the statement, test1 method executed. Who called the test1 method? Test1 method called by main method. So going back, again printing the rest of the statement. Let's run this program and observe the difference. Compile, each time you need to compile. Compilation is success. Running also success. Please go through the program and output. We always need to understand the program and based on the output, right? So it is recommended always throughout the course, throughout the Java or any, any level of advanced Java or any frameworks. So you need to compare the program and the output. Based on that, we can understand theory behind it. Now, I would like to say one important topic. Suppose consider test1 is calling test2 method. What happens if I call test1 method again here? Just go through the program again. Main method is calling test1 method. Inside test1 method, you are calling test2 method. It goes test2 method printing something, again test1 method. Again going back to test1 method, calling to test2. Again test2 is calling test1. Test1 is calling test2. Some recursive, right? This should not be. Method should not have recursive call, right? So our program will be, it is not the good way of programming, right? So method should not have recursive calls. Again, I am compiling it. Let me try to run this program. I have compiled it. Please observe the output. See here, it is printing test1, test2, test1, test2, right? It is keep printing. This is not the good way. Method should not have recursive calls. This is not good. So methods should not have recursive calls, right? Methods should not have recursive call, right? It should have only normal call. One, right? At any cost, you should make sure method is not having any recursive call, or else it will be executed infinite. Finally, memory will be occupied, right? So it is not the correct way of programming. Now next one is Consider I have method 1 here, right? Okay. Fine, no issues. We will see that later. I mean, in the future, we will see how to call the main method. Now, test 1, if you observe, let me remove this recursive call. Let me remove here also. I am just modifying test 1 into test 1 is void, test 2 is int type. I am coming back to the return type here. If the method does not return anything, mention it as void. If method is returning something, then keep it int type, right? So I'm just keeping something like this, right? For understanding purpose, let's make it very simple. Right, this is test1 method, test2 method, right? So test2 method return type is int. At any cost, it should return int value, right? So you need to keep return statement. Return integer, you can return any number. I am returning 10. Consider you are having one more method. The return type is double. It can return any primitive data type. We already seen, right? Primitive types like byte, short, int, long, float, double, boolean. Either it can return primitive type or derived data type also, right? So consider here we are returning double. Then it should return double data type, right? Consider you are having something like this, 55.44, right? So this is the way. So you need to, if at all you keep the int type, then you need to do like this. What I do, I can just store the value here. Test1, what is the test1 return type? It is not having any return type. So test2, let's call test2 method. Test2 is returning int type. Same thing you can store it here, int x, right? Whatever test2 is returning, you are capturing in the variable, right? Storing in that variable. What about test3? Test3 is returning double type, right? Same we can store here in test2 double d equal to test3, right? And finally, if you want, what you can do is you can print all these values, right? You can print int value and also you can print double value also, right? So should not print in double quotes, print the actual value, right? X. Now what we are doing, it's simple. We are having three different methods. Test1 is not returning any type. Test2 is returning int type. Test3. This is test3, right? You cannot keep duplicate method names. Test3 is returning something like this, right? Double type. Let's compile the program again, run it again. Compiling the program, compilation is success. Let's run the program. Observe the output along with program. Going inside main method, right? Calling test1 method, inside test1 method, just printing some statement. Then calling test2 method. Whenever I am calling test2 method, going inside test2 method, right? Printing something, then returning 10, right? I am not doing anything. Then calling test3 method, going inside test3 method, printing something, returning something. Same I have stored. Finally, I am printing x and y, right? Then main method ends. Now consider we are having something like this. Instead of returning int type, consider I am trying to return float type. What will happen? This is a floating return type, right? Or string type, anything you can say, right? I am trying to do something, but I am trying to return some value, string value. This is not correct, right? Return type you have mentioned int type, but you are trying to return string type. Same data type only you need to return. If you are mentioning different data type, you will get issue, right? Let's compile again. Here, you will get compile time error. Says very clearly, line number 27, incompatible type. String cannot be converted to int. You are supposed to return int type, but you are trying to return string type. It says string cannot be converted into int. It is not possible, right? You can experiment different things. Even what you can do, you can define one variable called something like this, right? Int, a equal to 10, right? Same way what you can do, you can define a also. It's fine, right? Instead of value, you are returning a variable. It's fine, right? Suppose even you can just experiment with different things. Is it possible to return byte, right? That's how you can learn. Here the return type is int. In case if I don't return anything, it means it is a void. You will get compile time error, right? Now let's go one more program, one last program. I am removing everything, right? I am keeping only one method, right? I can say this class is method one main method, right? I can say method one main method, class name and the method name, right? This my class is very simple. Method one is having only one method, that is called method one main method. What I'm going to do is I'm going to create one more class, right? Inside this class, I'm going to keep one class, second class called method two, right? Here also I'm keeping method two main method, right? Starts, right? And ends, right? Let's save this method two class, method2.java. Let's compile the method to method2.java. Compilation is success. Let's run this method2. We are getting method2 main method starts, main method ends. Correct? There is no issue. Now in case, is it possible to call method1 main method from method2 class? The question, is it possible method2 main method to call method one main method? Is it possible or not? Let's see something. Let's see this. Printing some lines, right? Printing some dotted lines. Then what I'm going to do? Simple. How I can call a method? If it is inside class, I can call directly. So it is outside class, right? I can call method one class name dot method name. If it is a different class name dot, what is the method name? Simple, main method, right? Main method. It is expecting some string arguments. Whatever you are having here, consider here it is having AA and here it is having BB, right? It is whenever you are calling a method, it is expecting a parameter type, right? Just pass it. I cannot simply call main something like this because there is no method inside method one class which is taking no argument. No, only one method is there that is taking string argument. So when you are calling, you need to pass the string argument. Same string argument I have already BB, so I can pass it. Now is it proper? Yes. We are calling method one main method by passing string argument, right? I mean string array argument. See here, it is a method which is taking string array argument. I'm just calling main method here, right? Let's run this program and observe the output. Compile again Java, compile again method to class. Method to class compilation is success, right? Then run it again. See here. See here. Again, I am modifying little bit. After calling, again I am printing some dotted lines, right? So what I will do, again I will compile it. Again I will run it. See here, we have run method 2, right? So when we are running method 2, it comes here printing something. Method 2 main method starts, right? Printing method 2 main method starts. Then printing dotted lines. Calling method 1 dot main. So going inside method 1 dot main, printing here method 1 main method, right? Same you are getting the output here, right? Executing complete main method. Then coming back, printing the dotted lines and printing one more lines. Method to main method ends. That's why I kept the class name here instead of confusing. For method 1 class, I just printing the method names as well as some text here. Please go through the program along with the output. Usually in real time, we will not call like this, but just for understanding purpose, we are, experimenting.